We must stop the terror. Now watch this drive.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Welcome to 2025, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it. It took a little break during the holidays. I apologize. Sometimes you got to kick your feet up for a little bit, and I know that's not crucial or very smart when you're trying to, break through in the entertainment industry. But it was nice. We had a lovely time down in California with Brian Holtzman. Shows went off without a hitch. So thank you to those that came out. For those. Plenty of shows coming up, and let's get the 2025 dates out there, so that way the folks know where you can come and hang out with the Danger Cats, the Danger Kitties. Okay, upcoming stand-up dates, January 24th in Slave Lake, Alberta, January 25th in Fort Mac, Alberta, February 7th and 8th in The Hammer, Hamilton, Ontario, February 15th in Edmonton, Alberta, February 16th in Las Vegas, Nevada, February 23rd in Calgary, Alberta, March 27th, just added the most requested town across Canada for us to go to, Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We will be there March 28th in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, April 4th in Drayton Valley, Alberta, April 12th in Lloydminster, Alberta, April 25th and 26th in St. John, New Brunswick. You don't want to mess up that name. They really crucify you when you call it St. John's. We're not a bunch of fucking newbies. St. John, New Brunswick, then April 27th in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and May 10th, Medicine Hat, Alberta. Tickets available at dangercatshop.com. New merch available on the store. Brand new items. The Elaine Sat Here shirt. We are going hard in 2025. Lots to talk about. Lots to get off and out. And, it's a new year. A lot of folks are pretending like they're going to become something new. This is the time of year because the calendar changed, that somehow a fucking clock struck midnight, that all of a sudden that your whole life will change just before you. Many of you wait till a time like 2025 here. It's time to shape up a little bit. You're not going to do it. Don't fool yourself. Don't give yourself that lame excuse of saying to, you look in the mirror and what do you see? Do you see a winner? No. I look in my mirror and I see a loser, a deadbeat, somebody who's just begging for attention constantly. And what I'm trying to get to is in 2025, the Lane Sat Here shirt has dropped on the website, because that's loser behavior. It's tormenting an elderly woman who sits in a position of power. That's what you do when you're a guy like me. We have lots. The Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter has been created while Sam Walker and I were in California with one another. We came up with this. First person to be subjugated to the wrath of the tribunal was Nicole Minions. We're going to talk about that later in the show. We're giving you a breakdown of the show early so you know what to expect. I think that's the way to do it. The news does it later in the evening. 15 Indians fell through a sheet of ice into a lake, attempting to construct a scam center. I got to get that a sound effect. We're going to change the sound effects this year. I'm going to find some cool ones. We gotta have an intro for the tribunals. We're going to have a section in the show, Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter. Again, you are able to call into the show. By that, I mean voice recording. If you record, we all have voice note apps on our phone. If you record what you want to say to the show, record that, send it in, email it, unclehack@dangercats.tv. We're going to do that once again. A little more structure of the show going into it. For a while there, it's like, do we want to comment about politics? Do we want to comment about social issues and all that? And yes, we do. But sometimes you got to create your own. But before we get into that now, a lot of that. Before we get into that, a lot has changed. A lot has changed, hasn't it? President Trump is reelected. We have a new presidency heading into, well, I guess it'd be in a few weeks. He'll be heading into the White House, and a brand new, a fresh. What are we to expect? Currently, Facebook and Instagram are changing their community guidelines now. There's no more fact checking. You can call fucking the trans names again. And we're back to that. We're back to online bullying. You know, it's crazy. Some of these tech billionaires have made a shift. Politically, they shift. You know, for a time, they suppressed Donald Trump, and now that the people want him that bad, it seems like it's all by design. You know, it's to give you like a false hope that this hero arises to like give you. Meanwhile, rights have been stripped from you, and what rights are those? I don't know. Look around. Do you feel free? Do you feel free? You're in a constant surveillance state. You have something in your pocket that monitors everything that you do. They know everything about you. There's targeted ads that try and just sift the money out. Taxes are through the roof. Everything, but you can say cuss words. You can tell trans people they're lying again, so that way you can feel good. Meanwhile, they extract every dollar out of your pocket. You know, that's the exchange here. Is you get to ridicule somebody who wants to lob their hog off in exchange for your money, which is a good trade-off, right? What would you rather, huh? What would you rather? Would you like the before times where they just did both, where you couldn't say that shit anymore? You can scream at lunatics in the streets. Now they're giving you something in return for stealing your money, at least. That's a good thing. But what is it with these tech bros now? I don't like this. I don't like that the tech billionaires and like what's his name? Amazon, the Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos, they're all like muscular now. All of them look like they could be a side character on that what was it, Jimmy Tatro show, The Real Bros of Simi Valley. They all look like they could be like, you know, they could be a part of the cast of that show. Mark Zuckerberg's doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu, showing up to UFC events, awkwardly standing, you know, in the background as a fighter is getting ready to exchange blows with another man. Like, you don't fit in here. You know, what is it? You finally were around some masculinity. You spent all those years in that gay university developing an app that essentially was the downfall of civilization. You know, look at how many people still, now that your parents and deadbeats sit on Facebook and they argue all day long, there are groups designated for you to bitch and complain about the town, and those people are the most insufferable people you could ever come across. You know, anybody who does Facebook lives still should be put into an electric chair. That's what we should stream. There's no one going on a Facebook Live giving you any sort of substance with their wisdom or words. No one. I've tapped into a few that decided to like go live and talk about us, and I've rewatched them, and all of them are the same. They're in a house that is filled with these like medium to large sized dogs that drool everywhere. There's paw prints on a TV screen. There's like lick marks on it. They smoke cigarettes inside, which, you know what? I agree with that. I can't. You got me there. The one thing I agree with. They were all ex-alcoholics that lost purpose once, you know, COVID hit, lockdowns hit, and they couldn't go to the local tavern. So they got sober and decided to take up social justice. The ones that were screaming and yelling about us. They were all at some point a bigger scumbag, if not equal to what I was in the past. You know, birds of a feather, as they say, hopping on Facebook Lives, giving their hot take about the situation. Nobody in their right mind who taps into those should be taken serious, let alone the person hitting live on Facebook. Nobody. Go on TikTok. Do a TikTok live. Go on TikTok. Be normal. That's where the true lunatics are. there is like there is these like, there's certain, it's like areas of a city, the internet, and where some people exist. Like, the north side is usually an area that you don't want to venture into, which is Facebook now. Young kids aren't going to the north side to hang out. There's no hot clubs in the north side. TikTok is like, it's downtown. Downtown is always a safe bet. There's always a new club downtown. There's always a new bar or a new space that young people gather, consume liquor, and fornicate afterwards. And this is just the meeting ground. And that's like TikTok. Instagram is like, it's like a Canadian brew house on the West End that millennials hang out at. Every now and then something pops off and you want to be there. Twitter is literally like, it's a fucking gun range. That's what that is. Twitter is a gun range on like the outskirts of town that, you got to know somebody to get in. That's what it is. The internet is like these areas of cities that are designated for like the worst people. The worst people. And those that don't venture and they just stay offline and they're the happiest, let's be honest. But a lot of people have false happiness right now is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to call it false happiness because you were led to believe that Trudeau's resignation is going to be good. It's going to be great for the city, but it comes at such a horrible time. We have a new president that's coming in right now. Economically, we're not doing great as a country. We're in limbo. We're almost like the Ukraine right now. Except instead of being having active war zones, we just have, truck drivers on the highways going across the country. That's our war zone, is just seeing that a Kenworth has been exploded. And I'm not pointing fingers to a particular group of people, because I am not that guy. I'm just saying I have drove from the west coast of this country to Edmonton, Vancouver to Edmonton just recently. And I'm going to say there was an alarming amount of Kenworths just planted into the side of mountains. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers. You can do your own research. I'm just saying this is something that I noticed. Like that's concerning. Those are goods that are supposed to be transported across the country that are just lodged into a mountain right now. Somebody did not have a very Merry Christmas because their Amazon products were lodged into the Rocky Mountains, launched into a creek. That's not good. Nobody wants that. Now, do they? But Trudeau has resigned as leader, and we're supposed to be celebrating this where I'm not. I'm upset. I didn't get to fire him in an election by throwing my vote away. I would vote for Elizabeth May just because I know that vote is just burnt. That's who I would vote for. I'd vote for the Green Party in my riding because it's a conservative stronghold where I am. So I'd just be burning my vote. That's what I would be doing. I'd be lighting it on fire. I'd use it to spark a burning barrel is what I would do. And inside that burning barrel are all my tax returns or the remainder of my money. That's what I would do. I would burn my money. But a lot of you are led to believe that this has been a good thing as he resigns. He resigns as leader of the Liberal Party. He never did say resigned as prime minister. Now they're going to, this is going to be, here's what I'm predicting, after listening to a lot of political pundits and commentators discuss this matter. I agree with a lot of them. I think that this move was a cowardice move to basically shut down governance of the country. He's been missing for the better half of a month now, and then all of a sudden arises, like a groundhog that's seen its shadow and is now going back inside the hole for a little bit, going inside the hole. So as we look into the grim future of Canada, I think that this was just, it's a move to kick the can down the road. A lot of you are excited. Oh, he's gone. We finally got rid of him. He's not gone. He's not gone. This is a political move to prove that nobody wants to take over this dumpster fire. You're going to have to deal with them till October, because I don't think a guy like Mark Carney wants to, be the rebrand of the Liberal Party right now. He's going to be losing to Pierre Poilievre in October. It's very apparent, judging by the polls that are being put out. You have a country that is visibly upset with the current prime minister, who is power hungry. You think he's just going to go away without making a splash? Come on, people. You're smarter than that. And I wish we would all. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna watch this together.
Friends, as you all know, I'm a fighter. Every bone in my body has always told me to fight because.
And you know what bone he should have fought is the one between his thighs when he was groping that young girl. That's a joke, folks, because we all know that some young girl at a high school signed an NDA, right? We all know that. And then there was that woman that he groped at a music festival. And so the only bone in his body that doesn't fight is the one between the thighs. Anyways, moving on.
I care deeply about Canadians. I care deeply about this country.
Yes.
I've always been motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians.
Is that so?
And the fact is,
This is very, very, very
effort
dramatic.
to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months.
Yeah.
After what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor General we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 2024. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and had long talks with my family.
You've been harassed on ski hills.
Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. Last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to
This sounds like a speech that a father would give once he got caught fucking the secretary. Doesn't that have the same energy to it? It'd be like, and you're trying to present your case of like why I'm a good guy by stepping away from the family. Like dad got caught with a $50 hooker in a Motel 6, and mom is pissed, and dad's doing whatever he possibly can and say whatever he could whatever he could drum up with inside of his head, right? Sitting after a good long discussion at dinner. This would be like the speech that you got to give the family of like why you're walking away from the marriage. Your mom is like, well, what are you doing, honey? She was the one, I thought she was the one. And you don't want to be that guy, but yet you fucked up. The marriage went dry. It was a little stale. You haven't got sucked off since 2016. The lockdowns are really tough because you're around one another. You were way too much. You weren't an essential worker, so you go, before you would just slip out of the house, life would be good. You could fucking, there was things that you could do and people to go see, and then it became too much. You had to listen to her whine and bitch and complain. There was a long list of honey to do bullshit that you didn't want to do. You just wanted to fucking enjoy and laugh. She's a little more uptight, feels that being a mom is a job that should be compensated. and you just wanted a suck job in the garage like you were a teenager again. You wanted to live a fantasy out. And here, you took you worked a little overtime, worked up a couple extra shillings to put in the wallet, and you went down to a Motel 6, called up some French hooker that could suck a golf ball through a fire hose. She has just got the suction of a Dyson on her. And you had your way with her, and the wife just found it a bit suspicious that you were stepping out to go and get, some groceries that were already in the fridge. There was a sneaky suspicion that you were up to no good. You were a bad boy, right? You were a silly little boy. And now you got to give a speech like this in front of the family. After a good long talk with my kids, you're trying to be coy and not admit guilt. Meanwhile, be presentable enough to seem like you're a victim here. Just enough to just garner just an ounce of sympathy, and then you can work off of that. You can stretch that sympathy out for a little. Well, like I am giving her the house. I do have herpes. It's not fun. I'm not excited about it. I do have the herp. I got it. Don't trust French hookers.
Resign as party leader, as prime minister. After party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process.
Yes, a robust. See, listen to that right there.
I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister. After party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide,
as the party leader
process.
But who's next in place? Who will be next in place? I seen a poll the other day that it's supposed to be Mark Carney, and a lot of people don't want him next in line. Or first, the poll was this: 22 to 23% said that they don't find anybody suitable to be a leader of the Liberal Party that they presented on the poll. Nobody listed. The next in line was Chrystia Freeland at like 18%. And following that, I believe, was Mark Carney at 11%. Now, I don't know where this poll was conducted. It was another one of these, like, it was a meme, so it could be a lie. And we know we don't like lies now, do we, on this show? But, like those lies, we have this. See, this is what the leader was up to. So when we didn't hear from our great leader for such a long time, this is what he was. He was in the ski hills out in, I want to say Whistler. I don't know the exact location. I don't care where he was, okay? I don't care where the prime minister was. What I do care is the reaction of this woman. Now let's tune in.
Mr. Prime Minister.
Mr. Prime. Look at the look on his face. Look at this. Worried. He's been spotted. Fool. There's an admission of guilt on his face that he's out here having a good time skiing. This guy should have just hung it up. Like I said, what we are going to see in the next little while is, instead of politicians just sifting off into the dark like they used to, they'd get a position of power. They'd be at like in some NGO. They would be on the like a chairman of some fucking financial institution just because of their political ties to the governing body. They can speak politics with these folks. They get hired on in these positions. All of them do. Once they leave politics, they just go off to these high-paying salary jobs and enjoy the rest of their life. You kind of forget about them. They're vacationing in the Bahamas. They're going to Tahiti. They're going to places that we can't even pronounce. where I think the new generation of politician is going to be more of an influencer. We see it with Olivia Chow. We see it with the prime minister here showing up and collaborating with TikTokers, right? The guy that makes milkshakes in his basement. Big Trudy was in there like a dirty shirt. This is great. I'm a star. He should have been a star. Should have been a TikToker. Not the Prime Minister of Canada. He's wasting his talents. Now look at that face. He's concerned. Am I going to get my ass kicked? What's going on? The Prime Minister is way too approachable. Mr. Prime Minister. And he shakes the hand, you know. Where are the bodyguards? Where are they? Where are they? How are people able to get this close to the Prime Minister? Isn't that wild? Isn't that what is this not concerning by any means? There's lunatics out there, and I'm not saying I'm one of them, but I don't, you hear it all the time. If I had cancer, I'd fucking, if I had cancer, I would, like, come on. No, you're not. Nobody, I don't want to be in a country where politicians are being assassinated. I want them ridiculed and mocked. That's what I want. I like that people ridicule and mock them to a point where their egos are bruised. To me, that is exactly what needs to take place. That's exactly what needs to take place. These folks deserve nothing but the finest of roasting being thrown their way. They deserve to be ridiculed and mocked in public. I'm not really for. I'm getting to the age where I don't want to condone violence, but I think that words don't hurt. I think that we should be able to speak our minds to some of these folks. Shouldn't we?
Please get that out of BC.
Have a wonderful day, man.
Yeah, you suck.
Isn't that something? That's how approachable he is. And then there was this. You got to look at the show notes today. Isn't that lovely? This one is.
Look at this. Look at this.
There you go. How did that kid get that close? How? How did that kid get that close to even say that to the Prime Minister? You tell me. Isn't that something? It blows my mind. How is that even possible? Look at this faggot, he says. Unbelievable. Look at this faggot. There we go. There we go, he says. That's the rebut to it. There we go. But I, however, now that we are heading into something where we have to nominate a new potential candidate for the Prime Minister's position, right? The new leader of the Liberal Party. I think there's only one option in my mind. There is literally one option. Oh, there is only one option in my mind. This is my favorite politician. One of my favorites, Ladies and gentlemen, Yara Sachs. You may remember her during lockdowns of where she was duped by 4chan to believe that honk honk was an acronym for Heil Hitler. That's what we were able to convince her. That's what we, internet users and shit posters around the world, were able to convince and fool a sitting MP who is the Minister of Mental Health and Addictions. Now, is this concerning? Is it alarming? Possibly. Should we be concerned? Maybe. Should we elect her, a lunatic at this capacity, a lunatic, out of her mind, Should she be the next leader of the Liberal Party? I believe so. 'Cause let's listen in. This was in the House of Commons.
How many guns need to be seized? How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler? Do we need to see by these protesters on social media? How many guns need to be seized? How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler? Do we need to see by these?
I'd also like to, just throwing this out there, no reason or why I'm saying it. I just feel like people should possibly, they should know this, but she holds passports in 2 countries, one being Israel, the other being Canada. Just a little fun fact about Yara. That's why I advocate for her. That's why I want her. This is who we need leading the country. Somebody with a backbone that'll stand up to internet shit posters. Somebody that will throw the book and throw the book down hard and heavy when it comes to internet shit posters. And I know you and I are alike when it comes to internet shit posting. And Bill C-63 is now being somewhat scrapped, is what I'm hearing. That's the buzz on the internet. But you know what concerns me more is the folks that want to look to the Conservative Party like they're the Lord and Savior. They're going to come in and give us this internet that it's unregulated, like it's 2006 all over again. When you could say the N-word on Facebook. You remember those good old days when you could say a hard R on Facebook? Weren't those the days? Didn't we have a good time back then? We had a wonderful time back then, didn't we? Just saying a hard R on Facebook with your buddies after posting all the pictures from the weekend you had at the good old watering hole. Wasn't that good? All the ridiculous photos in the late 2000s. Weren't those fun? That was a good time, wasn't it? Pictures from a house party of you hammered, saying the N-word in the comment section. Those were the days, weren't they? Now look at us. Scrambling to go and delete those comments just to save our jobs. Times have changed, haven't they, folks? But like as time marches on, we like to believe that the Conservative Party is going to be the party that saves us from internet censorship. Where I hate to bring this to your attention, a lot of folks out there, possibly on this channel would say that they probably lean a little more conservative. Where I say, you know what? Fuck them all. Why not have a little fun? Make all their lives a living hell. Why not? I've never seen the ruling class come out and support any of a Danger Cats comedy show. Where were they while we were getting ridiculed in the media? I thought this is free speech. Where's my celebration, huh? Where are they when I need them the most? But conservatives say they have a solution for online harassment after the Liberals failed. Okay? Now these dear Lord and Saviors. Here we have Michelle Rempel, the MP for Calgary Nose Hill. She came up. She's got a new bill, a new one. Says her party will introduce a bill in the House Comics next week to protect people from online harassment. So the libs weren't able to control speech online, but the conservatives certainly can do a much better job at suppressing online hate. Instead of jail time, no fines. No fines. And I say that in air quotes, no fines. We'll just fucking make your life a living hell. We'll freeze your bank account. Rempel Garner says the Liberals have had almost 10 years and tried to pass 2 bills to address the growing problem of online criminal harm and have failed. Her bill will modernize the existing law against criminal harassment so a victim can ask a judge to force social media companies to identify someone who has repetitively harassed them online. The bill also sets out a requirement for online companies to give parents the tools to keep their kids safe and introduce algorithms that verify a user's age without requiring a digital ID. Well, how are you going to do that, Michelle, seeing as you're going to force social media companies to identify someone who is harassing someone else online? How are we going to get through this? What is your big plan? Rempel Garner insists her approach would not constrict freedom of speech, one of the criticisms of the Online Harms Act introduced by the Liberals last winter. In fact, the legislation would create new requirements for social media companies to protect their users from sexual victimization, hatred, and bullying, and establish a new regulator to enforce it. So the libs put up all this money to have this bureaucracy built so that way they can monitor this, right? Millions and millions of dollars being put forward so that way people can sit there and act as if they are Facebook moderators, which now Facebook is getting rid of. Isn't that odd? This is why I say we're always 4 years behind the Americans. We're always behind the Americans when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, but now, Michelle, if the Conservatives get in power, which we're looking at, they're possibly going to have a majority government, are going to set forth their own online censorship bill. Isn't that lovely? This is why I say ridicule them all. But who am I to say anything? Because you know what? Like I said earlier in the show, I want to be in the position of power. I don't want them to have the power. I want the power for myself, all right? Which is why Sam Walker and I have come up with a new, not only game show, but what could you say? Maybe a bureaucracy of our own, huh? Something that we can all get behind. You know, for many years, we were subjugated to the verbal abuse of some of these folks that just hopped behind lockdowns. They wanted forced vaccinations. They wanted, to silence your voice. And we felt that too, because, when you tell jokes that rub people the wrong way, a lot of pitchforks and fucking, the flames on the stick come out. They want to put a knife in you. They want to watch you suffer. So that's why, after what we went through, not only comedically, but the past 5 years, right? The past 5 years of governing bodies, politicians, even comedians, advocating for things like vaccine passports for you, the listener, to come out and enjoy a comedy show. Since when did comedians become Gestapo? When have I ever gotten the proper training, for one, to go and check somebody's health? Huh? When have I ever went through the proper training to understand somebody's health records, let alone their health, their overall health? I mean, we took measures a little extreme. We wanted to know people's weights when they were coming in, just so we can ensure that it was, we're doing our part. We're doing our part. So we would weigh people at danger rooms in Calgary. It was for your health and safety. Nobody knew what was going on. We didn't know. We needed to know your weight before getting into the show. That's for damn sure. It's very personal information, and we needed to know that. So now, Sam and I, after what we've went through in the past year, will have created the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter. Sam Walker has been elected as the sexecutioner and cock ring master of the circus, okay? Now, what is the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter? Well, let me explain before you get all uppity. This is the perfect place to do it on this podcast because, for the past year, a lot of comedians, politicians, we've seen even to the heights of premiers of British Columbia come out and demand that we apologize for the jokes that we tell. Now, that's That's not very comedy friendly now, is it? And the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter will put these people on trial. Now, there are some rules that we put in place, okay, when dealing with these individuals that decided to take a stance against comedy, take a stance against laughter. We wanted to bring people together to laugh, but you wanted to destroy it. These are tyrants, and they need to be treated as tyrants. And the only way that we can do this is by sheer pettiness, toward just like very petty behavior towards them, which we received also. And with this, we put a few rules in place. Okay, if you are selected now, and like I said, comedians, politicians, those that took stances against the laughter, made videos, went to the news, anybody who's took any stance against comedy, any stance about people gathering and getting together just for laughter. Now that could be, maybe you're a comedian that was for vaccine passports. Well, now you're causing division between people. We should be gathering as one and laughing with one another, right? And this whole rule that I've been hearing about is that comedy is supposed to point to those at the powers that be and make fun of them. Then why are you doing the very thing that they told you to do? We're supposed to ridicule. We're supposed to mock this. And meanwhile, you're screaming and yelling that you need to show a vaccine passport to go see somebody tell a joke about their pussy, huh? About their penis, huh? Am I hearing this correctly? If anybody in the live studio audience would like to come forward and tell me that I'm wrong or I'm hearing this incorrectly, please step forward. But apparently, comedians possess the powers that politicians, lawmakers, policemen, to the highest degrees of power, to divide those for laughter. And that's a crime against laughter. That is a crime. Okay? Put that in the book. We'll be revisiting that in the future. But for those that decided to go with the vaccine passports, what are you, a pussy? And like I said, Sam Walker is an elected sexecutioner and cock-ring master of the circus. Now, okay, the rules. The rules are, if you are selected and you are put on trial with the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter, well, you can dismiss the case by publicly making an apology to either those that wanted to, it's case by case, obviously, to whoever those were affected. A public apology on social media has to be a hard post on any platform. Any platform of your choosing, you just need to send the link to the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter. We approve it, and it's ex-nate. If you fail to do so, now I forgot to mention that you have 24 hours. Once you have been selected, you have 24 hours to make a public apology towards those that were affected by your wrongdoing. If you failed to do so, you go on trial with the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter, and Judge Broseph Goebbels and Sexecutioner Sam Walker will gather together. They will come together. And you know what? They will come. They will. They will decide on the punishment, and this is all dependent on the level of crime against laughter. This is all dependent on that. And they will come up with a reasonable punishment. And we will announce that all on social media, across our social medias. Now, many of you have been following, the creation of this, and some of you may not be privy to it, and that's fine. You don't have to follow everything that we do, but we wanted to make a stance here on this show We wanted to come out and make it public that the creation of the Tribunals of Crimes Against Laughter is now it's an active organization. And the first vandal was Nicole Minions, the mayor of Comox. Now, Nicole was selected because of the crimes that she did against laughter. As a mayor, you should be wanting your constituents to get together and gather and have a good time and bring and boost the morale up of the town. But no. And get this, she even slid into my DMs. Slid into my DMs. We went public. We went public that Nicole had 24 hours to publicly apologize to Danger Cat's fans of Vancouver Island, and also the Lions Club president of Comox. And she failed to do so. So she is on trial with the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter right now. We are deciding on punishment, and we will be going public with that quite soon. So pay attention. And a lot of things, we monitor their social. And another thing I forgot to mention, nothing will be used against anybody unless it's public information. Okay, these are things that it's public, that you or I could find on any social media platforms, things that they've posted, things that they've voted for or against. This is all public information. I don't want to go digging around in closets of stuff that I can't prove is true, unless it's true and I know for a stone cold fact. Then I will not include it in the trial. Okay? Because we will be petty. Don't you worry about me and my pettiness. We will be petty with this, okay? But a few things, okay? We asked for Nicole to publicly apologize to Danger Cat's fans of Vancouver Island who are going to attend the Comox show, which was ripped from a venue, who wanted to host us, who wanted to economically thrive from Danger Cat's comedy being in their venue. This is something many business owners notice when we come through. They have a wonderful time. The show's great. The people that attend the show have a wonderful time. They laugh a lot. We hear it all the time. I haven't laughed that hard in a very long time. This was a very good show. We really enjoy that you came all the way here. And just like that, of course, the camera goes black. Of course. Just when you thought that I'd fix all the problems to this, I didn't, unfortunately. We're audio only for a little bit here. Audio only for a little bit here. And then we're going to switch on over to the Patreon. But Nicole has been found guilty of deleting comments on her Facebook page. On her Facebook page. Oh, disgusting. I can't believe that. Here we see the comment section of Nicole, of the people, constituents. Let the Danger Cats perform freedom of expression and money for the Lions Club. Nicole even responds. They can perform at facilities not owned by the municipality and leased for community services. I appreciate your respectful dialogue on this. So she responds to people in her comment section. This is good to know. This is good to know. I also have evidence that there used to be more comments than this. She has went in and deleted comments. That's despicable. As a mayor of Comox, see, she's restricting your right of freedom of speech, of expressing what you truly feel inside, when you have these, I'm assuming a left-leaning politician, feelings matter. And expressing your feelings in any way, shape, or form should be congratulated. Now, many people ran. We wish you nothing. Absolutely nothing. What we want is an apology for your tyrannical behavior. You don't get to decide what people choose for entertainment. People have a choice to attend or not to attend. You don't get to interfere with our rights of freedom, with our rights to freedom of choice and expression. A lot of people wanted the apology, and like I said, she was in my DMs. You don't go in the DMs unless there's something nefarious going on. And I don't think any of her lovers would appreciate that. Are you going to ring in the new year with an apology to the Danger Cats? A lot of her most recent, or one of the most recent posts on her Facebook page, littered with demands of an apology to Danger Cats fans, and did not do it. So she is put on trial for the first ever vandal. So we're going to call these people vandals on the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter. Very, very despicable behavior. We feel for her. We do. We truly do. And we will solve this. We will solve this. And that, my friends, is the first episode of the Uncle Heck podcast of 2025. We are very excited. You know, the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter will be a bureaucracy of two individuals that will be petty tyrants. You know, we will be petty tyrants with this. There are crimes that have received zero punishment and stole laughs. They stole laughs from these people that wanted to attend our shows. And we are not happy about that. And we will rain down. I'm going to have to get a powdered wig. This should be very fun. Anyways, folks, dangercatshop.com for tickets. dangercatshop.com for merch. Patreon.com/dangercats69. Head on over there. We'll be discussing more about the Tribunal of Crimes Against Laughter, other fun stuff. We'll get a little more extreme. That's where the dirt really lies. So head on over, and we will we'll see you next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Thank you. Enjoy.